All right, so now we're going to build on some of what Dad talked about in terms of your pain as the donor. So, you know, the pumping your chest with the air and getting the shoulder pain. Tell me how long you were in the hospital for, and take me through some of that you were experiencing post-surgery.
I think I was in the hospital for 3 days.
Right.
I think on the fourth day, like 3 nights, fourth day, I was released. The pain was considerable, I'll say that much, but it was manageable. So there's a lot of pain, but I was on so many different drugs. They have the morphine self-injector that you just pump yourself with. I believe codeine, Percocet, and like an oral morphine, hydromorphone.
Right. And IV, of course.
And an IV, yeah. So the pain wasn't, it was bad, but it was manageable, and then it would kind of come back, but then the drugs would kick in again.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing I experienced in the hospital was my throat, because like Dad was saying, they had a problem getting the breathing tube into my esophagus, so my throat was really sore. And again, like Dad was saying, they have to pump up your abdominal cavity with air, so they're able to cut and do what they got to do. That air travels up a nerve ending that ends in your shoulder.
Wow.
That pain was worse than the incision pain.
Really?
Yeah, and
it lingers.
I'm okay now from time to time, but I think that might be unrelated. I might get a little shoulder pinch here, but it was about a month
before it actually
kind of started to go away. The drive home, I'm getting a little ahead, but the drive home, I remember being extremely uncomfortable because of that. Because of the shoulder pain. The incision pain was like,
because it's traveled air now, right? Like you're moving and you're feeling every ounce of like. It was
extremely painful.
And there's nothing. Had they said that there was anything you could have done?
I was putting like a heat compress, but other than that and the painkillers, there's really nothing they can do.
Nothing you can do.
No.
And take me through now, because your esophagus was a little slightly damaged, but very much could recover. What were you eating?
So my diet was it was a lot of soup, broth, and pureed beef.
Bathroom times must have been so much fun.
Pureed beef.
Pureed beef.
Yeah.
What? Like actual?
It was like a log. It looked like just it was like about that, and it was like orangey brown.
Are we sure this was beef?
That's what they told me.
Just so y'all know, I hate hospital food.
Yeah, it was brutal.
My goodness.
I think we had popsicles one day, and that was like a treat. I was like, yeah. We were
and take me through some of the I guess like the nursing staff post surgery. Like how was that? Because I know you're frustrated. Like obviously anybody that comes out of surgery is probably super frustrated, in pain. You're just like, oh, cure me now. But like, take me through some of those interactions as a donor.
I don't want to get too negative here because I mean this video is I'm sharing my experience, Dad's experience, and we're trying to, I guess, just shed light on this option for people that are out there and feel like they have no more options. But if I'm going to be truthful about my experience with the nursing staff, it wasn't the greatest experience. I definitely felt like every time I asked them for anything, they gave me the feeling like I was bothering them. I felt like I wasn't really checked on that much. My night nurse was better. I had a guy in the daytime. We nicknamed him Kung Fu Panda.
Why?
I don't know. I don't really remember. I think he had like a man bun or something. And I don't know. We called him Kung Fu Panda behind his back.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I remember the day they took the catheter out of me. And that's the other thing. I wasn't told that I was...
I feel sorry for guys, because it's a lot harder. You guys, that's the closest thing you're going to get to childbirth.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, we're going to take it out. It's going to be a little bit of discomfort. And he just like, at the end, just yanked it out of me.
Ooh.
And I made like, I did that. I was like, oh. And he looked at me like...
Be a man.
Yeah.
Do the right thing.
And, I didn't appreciate that.
Oh, man.
But, yeah.
You probably couldn't have waited to get out. You probably
I was very happy to leave. I will say that the experience was, obviously it wasn't like great, but I do have some nice memories. I remember my son Remy left us his Chromebook, and during the surgery, the Raptors were on their championship run.
Right.
And actually, I think the night before the surgery was when Kawhi hit that shot in Game 7 against the Sixers.
Yep.
And then we watched the Milwaukee series. So Dad and I actually got to watch the Milwaukee series, I think 2 of the games.
Isn't the internet great?
In our hospital room. And it was fun. Great. And the nurses came in and they were all kind of like, oh, what's the score? So that's one thing I'll always remember about
That's
this.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So I'm gonna bring in Nadia now, of Nadia and Steve, obviously Steve's wife and Dad's daughter. I want to talk to her because I want to get everybody's, I want everybody to understand what it's like as family members having to go through this. And we're talking to the daughter and the wife of Steve. What's up, Nad?
I'm good.
So take me through just like some of your feelings when you were going through this whole process without, rehashing everything because we're limited for time, but just take us through how you were feeling for both your father and your husband and how you were dealing with that post-surgery.
It was very scary. Just, like you said, it's my husband, my dad. I didn't want anything bad to happen to either of them. You never know with surgery what the outcome could be.
Right.
So for me, I was very overwhelmed. I felt like I was going through a roller coaster of emotions, like every single day, just running through me.
Was it hard to try and split and I hate saying that, but like splitting your love and your time between the two without feeling some sort of guilt that, I might be giving it more to my dad and not my husband, or giving that more to my husband and not my dad? Like, did you feel any of that?
Well, after surgery, Dad ended up staying with us.
Right.
Because I work from home and my mom was still working. So
made sense. You'd have both patients in the house.
Exactly, and
Right.
they both needed care. So I was taking care of both of them on top of, we have 3 boys, so on top of our kids, and then also I run a daycare. So I'm running a daycare, so I was trying to juggle everything all at once.
It's a lot of stress. How did you keep your mental state in check? What did you do? Because I think there's a lot of family members out there that are probably going the same thing with their loved ones. How did you keep yourself in check?
I just tried to stay positive. I just knew that, thank God they were just okay and they're here with me.
Yeah.
When it was overwhelming, my mom would help me out. When she wasn't working, she'd be here, and my mother-in-law too. So I had lots of help. We were very fortunate that we had lots of help.
For those who might not have that kind of help, does the hospital kind of direct you into family supports and tell you we have these kind of people that are readily available for you? Do they tell you about any of that at all?
Unfortunately, no.
Financial support as far as if you have to get accommodations to stay at a hotel or
because you might be out of town or something.
Right, but you only qualify. Yeah, it has to be. I think we didn't qualify because it's Brampton, Toronto. It was too close. But
I think they just cover parking.
They cover parking.
Yeah,
and I don't
parking.
recall if they cover hotel if you have to stay overnight. So.
Probably by kilometers. I think they would probably look at where somebody lives in the distance if
Right.
they have to keep traveling, because that can, on top of your body already recovering, that's still a lot of, to put excess stress through traveling would probably be too much. So you touched on something I want to ask. So we talk about financial. Now obviously, Dad's working, you're working.
Yep.
How did you guys, because you're running the business, you got the family, Dad's here, what do you do for the financial? How do you apply for the time off? How does that look for a family?
I'm fortunate enough to work for a company that is got a very good sick benefits compensation package.
Right.
So, and the people that I work with, the management team that I work with is very supportive of my decision to donate the kidney. I had just actually, the company I'm with, I've been there for 13 years, but I had just, I think, 2 months before the surgery, I had just gotten a supervisor job with this company.
Nice.
So I was the new guy, and then I'm just starting, and then I got to tell them.
So
hey,
there's that work stress piece where you're like, oh my God, how do I go and tell you guys, hey, I need a few months off?
Right. I was a little bit nervous, but my boss there at work was very supportive, and I found a lot of support at work.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things people need to remember: live in your truth. As long as you're truthful, I think that's the best thing you can be. And if you be truthful at work, then you never know what kind of reception you'll get to it.
Absolutely.
In Toronto, I know there's a lot of, maybe through Service Canada and stuff, there's a lot of other ways you can apply for financial help, but I know it's hard. You kind of have to dig for it. So Nad, having 2 patients, you have a house full of boys. Let's clarify this. If you guys haven't been watching their YouTube videos, how does it feel as a woman having a house full of boys? You got 2 patients, how is it watching your, okay, we talk about how watching your husband, but how was it watching your pops, man? Oh my God, he's revived, new life. What does that look like? How does you feel?
Well, it was really hard when his health was like going down and deteriorating, like it was hard. It was really hard to see him like that. I witnessed him lose weight. He loves to golf. He wasn't able to do that anymore. His feet would like always be swollen.
Right.
It was hard for him to lift the kids, so I seen him going down. I don't know my dad like that, so it was really hard
To watch his
to
physical
watch
abilities.
him go down like that. Yeah.
And then you have him here as a patient. He's got, half your husband inside.
Yeah, you know what? It was.
We can joke now,
Yeah.
but just so you know, it wasn't easy. But we can joke now, right, Dad? We can joke now.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Dad was doing pretty good. You know, it was Steve that I was more concerned about. He was in more pain than Dad was. Dad was still able to like Dad said that he actually went through some procedures before, so he had an idea of
Right.
what kind of pain he would be
He
in.
would be in.
So I think he could tolerate it a bit more.
Right.
And
How were you prepping then for food for these guys?
They were-
Because
they
I know
were
pureed
getting-
beef ain't nothing good.
you know what?
I couldn't wait to eat normal food.
They were getting 3 fresh meals a day somehow. I was making them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And
So you guys didn't have to eat pureed food anymore at that
No.
point, right, Dad? Like when you got home, you didn't have to eat pureed food anymore?
I could eat regular food, but nothing too heavy.
Ah, gotcha. So
Yeah.
none of the West Indian hardcore
Yeah.
meals that we
Yeah.
have,
We'd
but
start
like
off
the
slow.
light stuff, a little bread here.
And I didn't really have much of an appetite the first week or so.
Yeah, you're just trying to recover from that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And now look at us a year later, and how do you feel now, Nad? Like, I know how these guys feel, but how are you feeling post just everything?
I feel great to have both of them around, and I love that Steve did this for Dad, and he set such a good example for our kids, and this is something our kids are going to always look up to him for.
Yeah.
And I hope that they see what kind of person he is, like a caring and giving, and it's good to have that spirit in you. And I
of
hope
course.
they look at Steve and say, I want to be like my dad.
Yeah.
Help others.
I think that's the 3 pillars, I think, for your family: faith, family, and love.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things I think of when I hear this story and I watch you guys and I hear what you guys, talk about: faith, family, and love. I think those are the 3 pillars now moving forward that your family truly does represent. You agree, Dad?
Yeah, just to add to what Nadia said about what Steve has done, I think it's a message out there for people who are considering doing something like this, that, it is a process you have to go through, and there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
And you can do this if you are seriously considering helping someone.
Right.
It wasn't
absolutely.
easy though, because Steve, going into this, he wanted to help Dad. He really did.
Yeah.
But there was times where he was like, what if something happens to me?
Yeah.
What about my kids? What about you? And we, myself and Steve, we went on a roller coaster. There was
course.
highs, lows. It wasn't like a bed of roses.
Yeah.
A lot of conversation.
Yeah, exactly. It was like
It truly tests a marriage, I would assume, right? Because I know a lot of couples, and not a lot of people like to communicate, but you communicate to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So I know for you guys, it probably was a level of communication you've never reached until now.
Right. Well, we
Yeah,
were
that's fair.
going through the process already. Steve had already done the test and whatever, and we were almost right to the end, and he was fine. I think it was right to maybe the last few weeks.
Stress.
He was kind of I think it was really getting to him, and he was getting nervous and emotions
All over the
were
place.
all over the place, and
Heightened fear, I presume,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
All
you
those-
know, which was
because
totally
of
understandable.
The closeness that we have, I was feeling some of this too.
right.
And this is why I was saying, I was even questioning myself, should we go through this? Because I was feeling what Steve was feeling, I was feeling for him.
Yeah.
That, I understand his concerns. Yes, I'm saying, I think somebody asked me once, well, if something happens to him, can you give him back the kidney?
Oh my God. No, it doesn't work like that.
It's possible.
It doesn't work like that.
Maybe when I die, they can take it back.
They can leave the prune in, take back the good one. No, it does. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. But
But
I mean,
at the end, I was just happy that everything worked out, and you know, I can't thank Steve enough for doing what he did. And
Yeah.
I never asked Steve to do it. I never pressured Steve to do it. He actually came forward and said, I want to help. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm just blessed, you know. I'm blessed to have married somebody like him.
Yeah, good on you, Steve. You got a brother?
I do. But
I'm
And
kidding.
now,
happy birthday, Yasmin. He's just turned 18 today, actually.
Happy birthday, bro.
and now Dad has a bit of Guyanese in him,
Yeah, Dad, you
Canadian
true.
in him, Dutch in him.
Yeah, you got
He
a
always
little-
has the little jokes, right? But now he's
Steve
got the
comes
little
from
Guyanese.
a very mixed family, so the
Yeah.
joke now is Dad's got a little mix up in him now.
Yeah.
So Dad, you're finally mixed up, eh? A little bit of everything.
Well, I'll tell you what the nurse told me at the hospital. You know, we used to chat, and she asked me one day, she said, so who gave you the kidney? Was it someone you didn't know? Or? I said, no, it was my son-in-law. And she goes, your son-in-law? She says, that was very nice of him. You know what? He's not your son-in-law anymore, because now you have a piece of him in you. Now he's your son.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so that really struck home, you know. I said, yeah, she's right, you know.
So we gotta upgrade your
That's a
title.
bond now that, you know, you can't break.
No, you definitely can't break it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, you know, the kidney's there, that's it.
Yeah.
But even before that, you know, Steve and I always had a good relationship, and you know, I respected him, he respected me, and you know, I was surprised, you know, from day one he used to call me Dad. And the other day I shared something with someone. We actually went on a trip to Jamaica.
Oh, yes, the recent boys trip.
Yeah, I promised them when his surgery's over and I'm feeling better, the first thing we're gonna do is go on a trip. And you know what? We did it just in the right time before this COVID stuff started.
Right.
And I shared it with a friend of mine, and you know what her comment was?
What was it?
She knew it was him that gave me the kidney, and she says, oh, look at that, he even called you Dad.
Nah, I like that.
Because he called me Dad in the video. She goes, he calls you Dad. Most people would say Mr. Khan, right?
Right, exactly. That's how I introduced you, but I can't call you that, so. I love it. All right, so let's talk about your stay a little bit in the hospital, Dad. Tell me what that was like. And did you meet any other people that were kind of going through the same thing you were?
So, firstly, my stay was a little bit more pleasant than Steve's.
Of course.
I guess the pain level for me was a little bit less. I wasn't going through some of the stuff he was experiencing. I would encourage people who have this procedure done, try and get up as soon as you can and walk the hallways. Because the quicker you can do that, the better off you loosen up everything that's been, you know, messed up in you.
Rejigged.
Yes.
And there's the
Absolutely.
risk of blood
Just
clots.
get everything back to where they were, right? And they encourage you to walk. So for me, I was walking the hallways and I was just going crazy. The nurses, they were just like, "Wow, look at you," you know.
And that
But
Steve was just
doing
mentioning.
it for me, right?
Yeah, Steve
I
was
was
just
just-
mentioning that there's also risk of blood clot if you don't move.
Well, that's the other thing. So they try to encourage you at least to get up and do one walk, you know.
Right.
Rest yourself, go back and do it again. Maybe 2-3 times a day if you can. Just up and down the hallway. Once up, once down, that's it.
Okay.
But to answer your question on the people, yes, you know, it was a very interesting stay in the hospital. I met, I was in actually a ward where we had 4 people. So 2 of those people had transplants. And I was fortunate to, you know, during the recovery process, to chat with them about their experience. And, you know, I met an interesting guy. He was on his 2nd transplant.
Second. Wow.
Yes, because he was born with kidney disease,
Oh wow.
and his brother gave him a kidney.
Wow.
And 18 years after, he needed to get another one.
Oh my goodness.
His best friend's wife gave him a kidney.
His
he's
best
not-
friend's wife?
His best
Wow.
friend's wife gave him a kidney. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is
So,
the first time I'm hearing this.
is, you know, this is the love that goes around with people, right?
Yeah,
You know, it's the gift of life. That's what they call it, right?
absolutely.
It's a gift of life. And yeah, you know, he shared that with me, and I shared my experience with him.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy that came in, and actually, this was an interesting one because he came in because he was actually called that they had a kidney for him. He's been on the list, I believe, for 5 years, he said.
Oh, wow.
And he was down 3 times before, and each time somebody else got the kidney.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
this is what you have to go through. They call at least 2 people so that if the kidney doesn't suit the first guy, the second guy will get it.
Wow.
So
That
it
is a
doesn't just
hard
stay
road.
sitting.
That is a
Yeah.
really difficult road as a, as a recipient trying to wait. I could see why you guys went
Well,
this
especially if you
rate.
get called and you say, okay, this is it, right?
Yeah.
And then you go down and they say, no, it's not a good fit for you. So that was the other experience that I had, right?
Wow.
And I thought people should, know that these things are possible. It will happen. It is reality, but you have to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a kidney out there for the ones that need it.
Yeah.
Just have to be patient for it.
That's a good message. As a recipient, do you have any other, I guess, recommendation or last words as we near the end of our series to the people watching?
Don't give up hope.
Right.
The ones that are on the waiting list, some people wait 7 years to get a kidney. Some people might wait 2 years,
Right.
It just depends on what's out there to be offered, right?
Of course.
I mean, the availability of organs is not a lot. And that's why they try to promote now that, the Gift of Life, the Trillium organization, is promoting the Gift of Life. And when I was in the hospital, you'd see the posters everywhere talking about the Gift of Life, that we can give a kidney and still survive on 1 kidney.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people should be aware of this, that you can have the same lifestyle before as after by donating a kidney.
That's awesome. I
Yeah,
like that
that's true.
messaging. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true.
That's
I don't. I know a lot of people get the organ donor card. When you renew your license, and people get nervous just seeing that. I know I have before, but it doesn't mean a death sentence. I think that's what people need to really remember. Like you are definitely giving a gift of life, and it's an amazing thing to give. So Steve, we talked about all your experiences.
Yep.
As we wind down this series, what are maybe some of the do's and don'ts and your move forwards, and any last words for the people that are watching that might potentially be wanting to donate?
I would say number 1, do your research. Do your
Yeah.
research. Do it yourself. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's your body. It's a big decision. Don't rush into it. Find out everything you can. Ask questions. Don't let anyone make you feel stupid for asking questions. I kind of felt a little bit like that at times during my process. And
Hey,
yeah,
no question is a stupid question.
exactly.
That's it.
Ask everything. It's a process. It's like I touched on earlier. It's obviously a big physical change,
Yeah.
but the mental part of it is just as tough. So you have to. What got me through some tough times is you have to remember why you're doing it
Yeah.
and who you're doing it for.
Would you encourage people that might be donating to talk to somebody as well?
I'm glad you brought that up because I was very fortunate that my cousin is a kidney donor. He gave his kidney to his brother-in-law 10 years ago.
Wow.
That is huge. That is paramount. To have somebody close to you that you can talk to who's not gonna, are we allowed to swear on this? Who's not gonna give you any BS
Yeah.
and just give it to you straight about what to expect, that is huge. To be honest with you, if I didn't have my cousin, I might have, I don't know if I would have
It's almost like having a donor sponsor.
Yeah, and touching on that as well, the hospital will have a team or someone that you can contact. I don't want to say don't trust them, but I will. The thing about that is the hospital wants you to do this ultimately.
Yeah.
So they do have, I call them cheerleaders, who will kind of be like, yeah, go ahead and do it, which is great, but you should have someone who is unbiased, who cares about you, and who will give you the truth from their mouth, like what they went through.
Yeah.
And my cousin was that for me.
And I know in Ontario
it was
we have the
huge.
Kidney Foundation. The Kidney Foundation of Ontario, somebody we had tagged in some posts in March when it was Kidney Month, I believe. So They also have they have great resources on their website. I know Nadia and Steve will put that below this video, because if you're looking to, like you said, get unbiased, or just find a community of people, there are definitely people out there, and I think people forget that the Kidney Foundation of Ontario is a great resource on their website. So we'll kind of post that below.
For sure.
Yeah.
But that's it. If I could summarize, that's it. Just ask questions. Make sure that you're ready for this. Make sure that you're really ready for this, because it's not an easy decision to make. Get your find out how you're going to get time off work. Financially, can you do it? Relationship-wise, talk to your partner about it. Talk to your children about it. Talk to your family and friends about it. It's include them in your decision. And just research. Just ask questions, and
When I say 3 pillars: faith, family, and love. Thank you, Steve.
I just want to say 2 things. One, as a recipient, don't ever give up. Because in my experience, I probably had maybe 5 or 6 donors that seemed like this would go through, only to fall through. And at one point, I was at the end of my rope saying, well, you know what, I guess maybe I'll just be on dialysis for the rest of my life, and wherever that takes me. But I'm saying to you, don't get that attitude. Just stay positive that one day you might get the gift that you're looking for. And the other thing I want to say is what Steve mentioned about the donor side, on the process that you have to go through. Yes, ask every question, but listen as well to what they tell you, because they have to do their jobs. There will be some that will tell you very negative things, because they want to make sure they're not doing this because they want to do it. They do it for a reason. They will tell you all the side effects and the after effects and what have you, mentally, physically, whatever. But they're doing it for a reason, to make sure that you want to do it. And if you want to change your mind, now is the time to do it. Don't go down the road and do everything only till the last minute you have to come into the hospital and you'll say, you know what, I changed my mind, because what you're doing there is very detrimental to the recipient. Because now you put him on cloud 9 only to chop his legs off. If you understand what I'm saying. So that's my message for those out there who want to do this for someone they love, want to do it for someone they don't even know, someone that wants to donate a kidney, someone who wants to donate their organs in the event of their death, whether it's an accident, whether it's a natural death, whatever. Just bear that in mind.
No, thank you.
Dad, thank you. Yeah.
Now, you just mentioned something.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the financial side, in terms of post-surgery, the recipient, the drugs, the medication post-surgery is very expensive. They actually ask you before you go into surgery if you have a drug plan to cover your medications. And if you don't, then they'll put you in touch with the Trillium program.
That helps you cover some of the costs?
Government-run program, yes. And they will help you based on your income. So at the end of the day, yes, you may end up paying, what you may think is a substantial amount of money for your deductible. But in terms of the cost of the medication, it's nothing. And in terms of, what you've received, it's nothing. So you will find a way, to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's for your health.
What we're doing here is just trying to give people an abbreviated version of what we went through.
Of course.
On my side, I can write a book about this.
Yeah, I know.
Since it was started, right?
Right.
And like you said, if anyone has any questions about it, they can contact Nadia or Steve, and we can answer their questions.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I can tell you, I can write a book on this, about my whole life and what I went through, and what I am today.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You look good, Dad. Happy 1 year, guys.
Yeah.
This is amazing story to share.
I can't believe it's been a year.
It's been a year, yeah. We're coming up to a year, so congratulations. You guys did, you know, you guys are amazing people. Steve, you're amazing for, you know, donating, and Dad, your body is an amazing beast. That's what I've gotten from this, that your body has gone through. Like, our bodies are amazing.
And I just want to say, like, look at us. I mean, we're both doing great. We feel great. So, you know, that's better. You can live a normal life after this is all said and done.
Absolutely.
You know what? And people do care.
Yeah.
People do care, because up till today, anyone I talk to, they always ask me, how is Steve doing? How are you doing?
Right.
That will never stop.
Right.
No, people do care.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think we're so used to, a lot of people are so used to keeping everything private and in your family that you forget that there's so many people out there. And I think Nadia and Steve realized that when they started sharing their story slowly on Instagram and started connecting with all these people that even, you know, were connected through just social media, and just finding out that there's so many people out there with other kidney diseases, but just as severe and going through it. And I think that's what's amazing, being able to share the story and the experience so that people know that they're not alone. And I think that's the other point of this video. You're not alone. So if you are looking for information on the ABO, incompatibility kidney transplant, I know it's a mouthful. If you're looking for information on the type of kidney disease that Dad had, if you're looking for information from donors or just some support, you're looking for a support sponsor, then this is the channel to come to. Contact Nadia and Steve, contact myself as the interviewer. I've done a bit of my own research, and I think it's important for all of you to know that you are not alone, and we are here. I know that we left some of the hospital names out of this interview for privacy reasons, but we can share that information with you offline. So, you know, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video. And of course, if you want to know anything about what's going on, just contact us and we'll help support you. And, you know, big up Kidney Foundation for everything that they do as well. Thank you again, Dad. Thank you again, Steve. Thank you, Nadia and Steve. Again, I'm Nadia Chandra, and it's been awesome. Thank you for tuning in.